It's roughly the size of Maryland, yet it holds the keys to the 21st century global economy. This is Taiwan. While many see a beautiful island, analysts see the single most critical point of failure for modern civilization. But why? Why does a territory of 23 million people matter so much to Washington, Beijing, and everyone in between? The answer begins with something smaller than a fingernail: the semiconductor. Taiwan is the heart of the global chip industry. Without it, the world's smartphones, cars, and even advanced fighter jets would stop being made. TSMC, the world's largest foundry, isn't just a company. It's a national security asset known as the Silicon Shield. As we enter the age of artificial intelligence, the chips coming off these production lines are more valuable than oil. This creates a unique paradox: an economic interdependence so deep that a conflict here would lead to an immediate global collapse. But Taiwan's importance isn't just about what it builds, it's about where it sits. For decades, military planners have called Taiwan a gate. It is the linchpin of the first island chain. Control over Taiwan means control over the deep-water access to the Pacific Ocean. It's a strategic high ground that neither side can afford to lose. Nearly half of the world's container fleet passes through these waters. A blockade would paralyze trade from Japan to Europe. To understand why this island is so contested, we have to look back at the shadows of the 20th century. In 1895, the Qing dynasty ceded Taiwan to Japan. For 50 years, it was a Japanese colony, developing the foundations of its modern industry. Then came 1949. After the Chinese Civil War, the nationalist government retreated to the island, bringing over 1 million people and the nation's gold reserves. Since then, Taiwan has undergone a miraculous transformation from a military dictatorship into one of Asia's most vibrant democracies. Today, it stands as a fully autonomous society with its own constitution, military, and a unique identity. But that autonomy is under increasing pressure. The Taiwan question is now the primary flashpoint in the U.S.-China rivalry. Gray zone tactics and record-breaking military drills have become the new normal in the Taiwan Strait. U.S. intelligence points to a critical 2027 timeline, a year that could redefine the balance of power in the Pacific. The world is responding. The U.S. and others are scrambling to build domestic chip factories, trying to diversify away from the Taiwan risk. But replicating Taiwan's cluster advantage, the decades of specialized knowledge and supply chains, is a task that will take many years. General Douglas MacArthur once called Taiwan an unsinkable aircraft carrier. Today, that analogy is more literal than ever. From the phone in your pocket to the stability of the global economy, every thread of 21st century civilization leads back to this island. Taiwan's future is not just a regional concern. It is the single point of failure for our digital age. The most important island on Earth? Looking at the evidence, it's hard to argue otherwise. Thanks for watching. Beyond the chips and charts, there are 23 million lives, families, businesses, and a culture that has forged its own path. This human element is what often gets lost in the cold calculations of geopolitics. Taiwan is a living, breathing democracy. It is the linchpin not just of trade, but of a specific kind of global stability we have taken for granted for decades. The technological gap between Taiwan and the rest of the world is measured in years, and that lead is being fiercely defended. Economists estimate a conflict here would cost the global economy over $10 trillion, roughly 10% of global GDP. Maintaining the status quo is a diplomatic tightrope walk that gets more precarious every single day. Geographically, Taiwan's deep-water ports and its proximity to the mainland make it an irreplaceable naval asset. As we look toward the 2030 seconds, the battle for technological supremacy will only intensify, and Taiwan will remain the front line. The question for the world is, how do we protect the most important island on Earth without triggering the very conflict we fear? The race is on to build resilience, but for now, all roads, and almost all data, lead through Taiwan. A world without a stable Taiwan is a world that stops functioning. That is the reality of our modern, hyper-connected existence. Because in the end, it's not just about an island, it's about the future of our world. See you in the next one.